Ready?
Hi, Corey. How you doing?
Good, you?
Good.
Good.
How's your folks doing?
Good.
Tell them hello.
Yeah, I will.
I usually bump into them somewhere, but I haven't for a long time. So. Good to hear.
Mom's busier now that she's retired, so.
Isn't that the
How it
truth?
works.
Showtime?
Yeah.
Let's call the meeting to order. We'll note the presence of a quorum with all commissioners present. I'd invite you to please stand. We'll begin with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, guests, staff, visitors present with us here. I guess I can call it this evening. First item would be approval of the agenda. We do have one addition, and that would be 5B, geospatial. And that'll be under Andrew's report.
Move to approve as amended.
A motion on the floor by Commissioner LaVisca approving as amended. Support. Motion supported by Commissioner Sample. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Agenda is approved as amended. Is there any citizens' public comment this evening? Second call, any comments, requests from visitors? Third, last call, comments from visitors. Hearing none, we'll proceed to the consent agenda. A motion would be in order.
Chair, I'll make that motion.
Motion on the floor by Commissioner, excuse me, Commissioner Carney. Support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner
Westerland.
Westerland. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Consent agenda is hereby approved. On to a recovery home presentation. Corey O'Neill, welcome, Corey. Come on up to the podium.
This is my wife, Holly.
And
too.
Holly.
Hi, Holly.
I know I was the only one on there, but she's more of a part of this than I am. It was her brainchild.
And Corey, either the podium or if you prefer to sit, either one.
I don't know. Do you guys got a lot of questions? Should we sit for a bit, or
It's up
it's
to
up to you
you.
guys?
Have a
Have a
yeah.
seat.
That way the audience can see it too.
Absolutely. I'll let her take the lead.
Hi, you guys. So like Corey mentioned, we're Holly and Corey from Purpose Driven Recovery Homes here in Aitkin. We just opened our doors in November, and our goal is really to provide transitional housing for individuals who most of the time, not always, but will be coming out of treatment facilities. They could have done a 30, 60, 90, or sometimes 18-month stay anywhere in the range. It's particularly hard for that population to obtain housing. So we're trying to bridge that gap, and Aitkin didn't have something like that prior to us taking the reins and starting that here. So that's really been our goal, and we're seeing it come to fruition right now. We've got 6 residents so far, and we've been open a
Wow.
very short time. So it's been a bit overwhelming, as we did not anticipate the need in this community to be so strong. We have housed a couple of local people. We have more inquiries almost daily asking for we do intake interview, we talk to counselors, we background. So it takes time to get somebody settled into one of our residences. And yeah, we're busy folks right now. And I guess I just want to open the door for you guys to ask questions that I may not even know that you have.
Commissioners, the floor is wide open. Comments, questions? Maybe you want to just proceed with your presentation, and that may prompt some questions too.
So that kind of was the presentation. Where
That's okay.
it's you know, they used to call them sober homes. The correct term now is recovery home. Like she said, we can take anybody, but we don't have to take anybody. We vet them We, like she said, we talked to the counselors. A big resource for us has been the probation office here. Just bouncing some people off of the probation department. They've sent us a couple referrals so far, and it's worked out really good that way too. So there's a lot of need for this. People don't see it, but we've ran into some not in my backyard problems from people, but it's they don't realize that it's already in their backyard. They just don't have anywhere to go. So that's, yeah, it's absolutely a need for people. We provide everything from beds to linens to coffee to toilet paper to soap to shampoo. Really all they have to do when they get here is show up.
Commissioner
Provide
Sample?
everything else.
Are you guys a 501c3?
We are not.
Do you guys plan on becoming one?
Not right now.
Okay. And how do you get your funding?
The Women's House, we have owned for 12 years now. We just purchased the men's home October 7th. We did that, privately.
It's self-funded.
Yep.
Self-funded.
It's
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
That is
I'll
awesome.
tell you, as an alcoholic, I wish they would have had something like this 30 years ago.
Yep.
Commissioner Westerland?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
So, how do you have a 15-year plan, a 10-year plan on funding sources? Or do you take donations?
We do. We take donations.
Okay.
We just had a meeting with the Palisade Lions, last week, and we actually have one with the Aitkin Lions coming up. We couldn't make their January meeting, with the scheduling conflict, but, yeah, the 5-year, 10-year, it's just, however long it's needed, and I think it will be needed. I don't see this need.
So do you get any from the state?
We get housing support. We accept housing support.
Okay,
We don't.
great.
We don't get it, but we accept housing support.
Okay.
So if
yeah.
residents qualify for that, they can self-pay if they want. We're also a vendor with DOC to take people out of prison. And that is a scenario where they can only send them to county of origin or county of commit. It's only two places that a prisoner can go to after they leave the prison system. And we are set up to be able to take them. It doesn't mean we have to.
Right.
We don't have to take anybody, but we are a vendor through the DOC to do that. So they can self-pay, there's that option, or we take housing support, so. there's
Commissioner
three different-
Carney?
Yeah, Corey, just for clarification, Holly, when they offend, they're coming back here no matter what. Isn't
The
that
DOC,
correct?
yeah, they
Once they
have
leave
to.
the prison, wherever they offended, they have to go back to, or the origin,
Right,
right?
yep.
So they're coming here anywhere, and
Right.
having a home for them to go to
Right,
is better than,
yep,
Are you guys an LLC?
we are.
Perfect.
That's great.
this is exciting.
It'll only get better.
It is.
She said 6, but it's only 5, actually. We were supposed to intake 2 people today, but one of them just didn't come. And you're gonna have that. Somebody just,
Sure.
he, for whatever reason, I haven't heard back from him yet, but for whatever reason, he just didn't want to, so.
And I know you proceeded very eloquently here, jumping through all the planning and zoning with the city of Aitkin. And just being a good neighbor, checking with law enforcement, and I really want to commend you on the process that you used to get here.
Yep. We wanted to do it the right way, and
Yeah.
the county's been great to work with. Sarah and Becca and those gals have been great to work with. So it's kind of new to both of us. It's new to them too. I mean, Aitkin County hasn't had one of these before, so it's.
Commissioner LaVisca?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, again, I commend you two for what you're doing, and it's definitely a need in this area. And just mention that when Corey had brought the idea to me, I obviously support this type of thing, but, the first questions I obviously asked are what's gonna be on everybody's mind, the safety of the community of this and that, and just the depth that they've gone to and the research they've done to know that they're able to take and make sure that the safety of the community is is their top concern, along with housing the people that need it. So, yeah, the way you guys have done this, I really appreciate it.
Commissioners, any concluding comments, questions?
So do you have somebody that lives there that takes care of all of this, or you guys are just doing it?
So that would be a house manager is what they
Okay,
call them.
yes.
We don't, we have house managers, it's myself, it's Holly, and then her dad, Millard Hauser,
Okay.
is also involved with that. We don't have a house manager. There's opportunities for residents to build up to that and take over that role if they want to. But right now, we don't have any. What was I gonna say?
I would tell you, hit
Completely.
up the McGregor Lions too.
Yeah, there's lots of lines
And,
on.
It's been a lot of meetings we've been at.
Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind couple months, to be honest with you.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But
They
yeah,
look really attractive too.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Yes,
the houses, yeah, the one we bought, the men's home, the house we had, the women's home, we remodeled it. The men's home, it came remodeled. We bought it from a gentleman who had remodeled it, so.
Nice.
Yeah, they're more likely to appreciate what they have and succeed in a place that, I don't know how to say this, yeah, it's safe, it's nice, it's not, you know,
It's accommodating.
it is, there's a lot of, and we've heard concerns too that it'll turn into a flop house, but it won't ever turn into a flop house where, you know, the owners don't care and it's just a spot for them to go and that's it, that's not our intentions at all.
And
So-
that's another plus of it being a personal, private investment. You guys, that's your guys' investment.
Right.
You care about it. You're not gonna let it turn into
Yeah.
a pit, so. yeah.
And I'm not saying a 501c3 won't ever happen, but that's not our intentions right now, at least. So.
Well, on behalf of the board,
Thank you.
thank you and wish you the best of luck in this endeavor.
Yeah,
You're filling a void here.
and if there's any questions, concerns from anybody, our door's open. Numbers are easy to get if you don't have it already, and yeah, transparency is our goal.
And just speaking of that, I don't know if everybody knows, but we have surveillance at our homes. And we have curfews, and we have a lot of rules.
I was
lot of
reading your
bylaws.
The
rules.
rules were awesome.
There, yes.
So if somebody is up to no good, we'll know about it pretty quickly. We're checking in all the time. We're there multiple times a week. We do house meetings, we do individual meetings. One of the biggest requirements that we would like our participants to adhere to is to get out and about into the community, doing something 15 to 20 hours a week. So we come up with a plan for them to be able to do that. Sometimes it's higher education. It's going to AA meetings. It could be just going to church, volunteering, shoveling the doorsteps, of your neighbors. We're recording all these things and they're accountable to that. And it gets them out of the house, gets them back into the community, providing them some self-worth, that they deserve this, they're given back. So that's really important to us. And we're hoping the next time we meet to have some success stories for you guys. So.
I got one last question. Why did you guys get into it?
It's kind of tugging at
You're
my
gonna
heart.
You're gonna tug your heart now.
I don't know if you guys know too much about just my background, but I have worked in the human services field for 6 years. I started out at Aitkin County, front desk. I learned some valuable lessons there. And then now I work for Crow Wing County. I'm a financial worker over there. And I saw a huge need. And it kind of like almost every single person that I meet reminds me of my mom, who I lost to addiction. In 2020, she succumbed to disease from the life that she lived. So it's kind of a tribute maybe. Maybe it's just because I want to do it and then there's a need and heard the call and I answered. I don't know, however you want to put it, but
You're my hero. Most people sit and talk and they don't do. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Well, we wish you the best, Holly and Corey. Good luck and we'll probably see you again.
All right, thanks you guys.
Thank you.
I like 18.
On to item 4, Tara Snyder, County Recorder, Judicial Security Legislation. Welcome, Tara.
Hello. Thank you for having me tonight. I wanted to present new legislation commencing on January 1st. It affects the recorder's fee schedule. I would like to request to set the fees for documents subject to the newly enacted legislation for judicial officials and their family members. New legislation designates the real property records of judicial officials as private data once filing a certified request by the judicial official. The recorder and other departments in Aitkin County are mandated to mask this data and must not disclose the individual's personal information in conjunction with the property identified in the written notice. These requests and implementation will require an extensive amount of work by not only the recorder's office, but also the assessor, treasurer, auditor, surveyor, planning and zoning, IT, and GIS offices. Minnesota Statute 480.50 Subdivision 6 authorizes the county recorder to charge a service fee of up to $75 for filings relating to judicial security. Our cost of masking the data and complying with the statute will far exceed the $75 that I'm requesting. I'm asking for approval to set the recorder fee of $75 per judicial security legislation document. All funds received will be deposited into the recorder's general fund per statute, subdivision 6 of this bill. So that is what I'm asking, is for $75 per document to mask this data and to follow the mandate.
Commissioners, barring any questions, you've heard the request.
Move to approve that.
A motion on the floor by Commissioner LaVisca approving. Support.
Support.
Motion is supported by Commissioner Westerland.
I have a question.
Discussion.
What was there a fee before?
Nope, this is
This
all new.
It's all brand new. Okay.
Yep,
Perfect.
okay.
Do you have any anticipated volume?
We don't. It's unknown. Depends on how many current, retired. It could be people from the cities that have cabin properties up here. We really have no idea, and we won't know until we get our first request for a property notice. The real property notice that once that is filed in my office, that we have 60 days to mask the data and make sure that the public cannot obtain the data through our government. Okay, thank you very much.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Approved. Thanks, Tara. On to Environmental Services, Andrew Carlstrom. Welcome, Andrew.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair, Commissioners.
Good evening.
So first item on the agenda that I have is to request public hearing date for the Shoreland Ordinance Amendment. On November 17th, the Aitkin County Planning Commission held a public hearing and approved the proposed amendment for the Aitkin County Shoreland Management Ordinance. Due to a very short publishing suspense, it was right around the Thanksgiving, I was busy doing RFP for recycling. The deadline was missed to publicly notice. It was supposed to be tonight originally, but now I am requesting a public hearing date with the Aitkin County Board of Commissioners at the regularly scheduled meeting of January 6th, and a proposed second reading on January 27th. And so yes, I'm just requesting a motion for that public hearing at this time. Information in the memorandum, what we're proposing. We've had much engagement with the public comments, public letters, so forth and so on. So January 6th, that would be what I'm requesting at this
Yeah, I
time.
have a
Mr.
question for Dave, just procedural. Is January 6th our organizational meeting and regular?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, that can be at the organizational and regular meeting, yes.
Okay, so that would be organization and first meeting?
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Another thing, policy, there's been some discussion about whether or not there's a need for a second reading. Do you want to comment on that, Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I am intending for the next board meeting to provide an updated copy of the board meeting procedures and outline that option. So next week, that will be on your agenda for discussion, because there's a number of changes in the proposed rules of procedure. To this one specifically, Aitkin County has had a practice of having 2 readings for each ordinance. That is not a requirement of state law, that's a requirement that you've imposed.
Yes.
So it's an optional.
So there's a chance that it could change by the 6th. Do you want to schedule just 2 readings? What's your preference, Dave?
Mr. Chair, I would suggest proceeding under the current rules.
Okay,
And at the January 6th organizational and regular meeting, you can adopt the rules for that year. And then if we have a second reading already in progress, that's probably not a harm.
yeah. I just wanted to clarify those points because kind of some loose ends there. Commissioners, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion on the floor to set effect by Commissioner Westerland and supported Commissioner Sample supports. Further comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Pose same sign, motion's carried.
Okay, thank you.
Then you got a walk-on item here, Andrew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, on November 25th, the Aitkin County Board made the conditional approval of the Geo Permit software purchase contingent upon the favorable review of our county attorney. After final review, the county attorney did want to make aware to the board the vendor's proposed limitations of liability and responsibilities. So,
Jim, do you want to add anything?
thank you, Jim.
In the agreement, there's 2 paragraphs that talk about limitation of liability, and as this board probably is familiar with, that MCIT has a strong recommendation that its members not enter into those agreements with limitation of liability provisions. And so my advice echoed that recommendation from MCIT. It's my understanding from the vendor that we're at an impasse on that issue. And so I think Andrew's here asking whether or not the board still wants to enter into that agreement with that limitation of liability provision, or to simply find a different vendor at this point. So.
Commissioners,
I would support finding.
microphones?
I would support finding a different vendor, if that's what's recommended.
Do we have one?
Well, there are different vendors. I do know that there's a representative from the vendor here. I don't know if he'd like to address the board or not.
Mr. Ryan Smith is here if you want to hear from him.
From this entity that,
Yes, sir. Yeah, from Geo Permits.
Yes, if you'd like to come up to the podium, sir. And for the record, just state your name and the company.
I'm Ryan Smith. I'm with Schneider Geospatial. I'm not a lawyer. Let's get that out of the way right now. I do know that there are always conversations. The only comment I can make is there are always conversations between attorneys on these types of things. And we have an attorney I know that has responded to some of Jim's comments. The only other thing I guess I would add is that we already work with more than 30 counties in the state of Minnesota. And I don't believe this specific request has come up. I guess, do you have any questions for me?
Commissioner Carney?
thank you. So you're saying that of these 30 counties that you're dealing with, no one has ever brought up this limited liability clause?
I know it's been brought up. Like I said, I want to be very careful with my words here, being in a
Please.
public meeting. And, but I do know that our attorney and our CEO even has made themselves available for any type of discussion related to this request.
What are these limitations concerning? Are they financial, or are they?
Well, what Jim found, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just concerns about if there was to be a data breach or something of information, if somebody was to hack into the software. And again, a lot of this language is boilerplate, templated language. And I reached out to some of our other counties that have geo permits. They're very happy with the software. They had no concern with it. But if there was to be a data breach or something like that, one of their liabilities is they would go up to $50,000. And so sometimes, the technology industry is moving so fast and things are just kind of unpredictable as far as costs. But there has been cases where costs have, went over 100,000, things like
We've had
that.
that already.
Yeah.
Two breaches this year. Is that not correct?
We did have 2 breaches this year, that's correct. They were not anywhere near that.
Right,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So these were just concerns that, Jim, did I miss anything else?
No, I will echo Ryan's comment that, I had 7 concerns and we have worked through 6 of the 7, the one sticking point being this limitation of liability.
Right.
It is a very dynamic environment, the whole technology, and that's why these provisions are pretty prevalent in these type of agreements, and MCIT also notes that. But they also, to be a good member, we all have to watch out for each other, and to do that, we have to hopefully abide by MCIT's recommendations, but I do understand their position. If I was their attorney, I'd want that provision in there. But yeah, it would, and it's broader, just
stop right there.
it's broader than just the data breach, but it covers basically any action against the county. So there is that potential of different types of actions against the county that the amount that you would be able to potentially get from geospatial would be the 50,000 at
That's
most. And
At
so
most.
that's the concern. And so then it's up to the board whether or not to continue to explore other vendors or to enter into this agreement, so.
Dave, as administrator, do you have comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can I just ask a clarifying question, Andrew?
Yes.
What's the duration of the contract?
It's a 3-year contract.
And so it's a limited term. They have a strong track record in Minnesota. They have been successful with many clients that we've talked to. The risk is there. The risk is always there.
Yeah.
It's not, in my opinion, a fatal flaw for the contract. I think as both Jim and Ryan have stated, it's a dynamic industry. If we wanted to move forward on the first 3 years, we could work out in that time period any issues. The contract doesn't negate the coverage we have under MCIT, right? So we are not exposed more than we would be. We simply have some limits as to what we could collect from Schneider Geospatial.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner LaVisca?
Further clarification, I guess. So this wouldn't in any way negatively affect our standing with MCIT, entering into this contract?
No, it would not.
To my knowledge, MCIT has not ordered any member to be withdrawn as a result of it. They sometimes highlight their bylaws saying that it could happen, but to my knowledge, it has not happened yet.
Okay.
Commissioners, comments for Andrew, Ryan, County Attorney Gratz,
I'd like to hear IT.
Chris? You knew it was a matter of time.
I did. Yeah, as mentioned, 30 other counties run with this. Also, as mentioned, it does not remove our MCIT coverages. At this point in time, all of the data we are planning to put into it is public data anyways. We are not planning to do anything with private data that I've been made aware of. So our exposure in that is very limited. They would only have read-only access into our environment to pull our public data out and host it in their environment. Because of those factors, I would say that the exposure is probably minimal.
So you're comfortable?
Personally, yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
I guess for purposes of clarification, I don't know who I should ask this, but what exactly is the motion that's being proposed to the board?
No motion needs to be made. I'm gonna look at Jim, because the motion that was approved was to approve the contract
Contingent.
subject to the attorney review. The attorney's reviewed it, he's expressed the concern he had, or the 7 concerns he had, 6 of which were satisfactorily resolved, and 1 of which is still a little bit pending. And so if you do nothing, we will proceed with executing the agreement and moving forward. If you want to revoke that approval from last time, then you could make a motion to that effect to,
So if the board is comfortable, we just basically acquiesce.
yeah, the purpose of bringing it here was to give you an opportunity to be fully briefed on the risks that do exist so that we're going in eyes wide open.
And on behalf of the board, we greatly appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Chair, could I?
Oh,
ask one
absolutely.
question? I was just gonna ask Ryan if you could kind of confirm what Chris said in that, is read-only data. I don't know where that kind of stops. Could you address that as far as, you know, the data that's gonna go into that? I mean, you've went over some of this with me. I mean, can you clarify any of that?
Chris, you might have to fill the gaps here a little bit. Be ready.
Yeah, thank you, just for
Okay.
clarification.
Yeah, and thanks for the people that are online. The microphones are pretty essential, so.
Okay.
So,
Want to make sure I'm careful with my words here.
yeah.
In a public meeting. We take a copy of the data from the county, and when people are applying for permits and everything else, the website, that is reading technically a copy of the data. We update on a nightly basis. The process is very techy sounding, but the long story short of it is it's very secure because we are pulling the data from the county versus requiring the county to push any data. And that makes everything more secure. We do this with our Beacon website platform in over 1,000 counties in the country. And then we also have the Geo Permits platform that's in over 150 counties. So, and the last thing I'll just say is looking at Commissioner Sample, I drove 6 hours to see you and make sure that you feel good and comfortable. I felt I made a rash decision without telling Andrew yesterday about 6 p.m. that I'm driving up here today for this meeting. So I wanted to I've been with Schneider for 15 years. I'm not going away. We have a great reputation. And I thought it was important that I show up here in person. So,
Again, greatly appreciated.
did I explain it okay? I think so. Okay. The main thing to understand is we're not requiring you to push the data. We pull the data, which makes it more secure. In very, very simple terms.
I'm comfortable.
Yep.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Okay.
Commissioners,
I'm comfortable with it.
Michael?
I am now.
Okay, I guess we'll just acquiesce to
Yep.
what has already been done.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Jim.
Thanks again for the diligency here and
You bet.
looking into it. On to County Engineer, Mr. John Welly.
I don't understand.
Welcome. Good evening, John. It's 5
Good
o'clock
evening. Thank
somewhere.
you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Two items on the agenda here today. The first one is an equipment purchase. It's that time of year that between snowstorms, our maintenance guys like to look at the upcoming equipment purchases. It's a good time of year to purchase the upcoming year's equipment that's budgeted, because a lot of the contracts that are out there, the state bid contracts expire as we get into the early part of the year. So typically this time of year, we're looking to start the purchasing process on equipment that's budgeted for the upcoming year. I realize it's a little bit ahead of the game since the budget isn't even officially approved yet. But the first piece of equipment that we have here in the 2026 budget is our Unit 300, a Terex brush machine we've had for going on 14 years. And it's been programmed for 5 years to replace it, so it's in the budget for 2026 to replace it. We looked to 3 vendors to replace this machine. Our existing machine is a Terex, so yeah, we're very happy with that machine. We looked to Brainerd General Rental for basically the same machine. We also looked to McCoy Construction and Ziegler for the John Deere and Caterpillar, similar models respectively. So as I outlined in the memo, what we would like to purchase is the low quote for the ASV/Terex machine from Brainerd General Rental. There is a little bit of a change though from what's in the memo. Since submitting the memo last week, we did learn that the DC 76K head that we were hoping to purchase is no longer available, so we have to substitute instead an RT 135 forestry head. It's actually a little bit lower cost, so the revised price from Brainerd General Rental with that RT 135 head is $158,000. $975. And then, as outlined in the recommended action, we would also like to purchase a 60-month, 2,000-hour powertrain plus extended warranty for $3,818.40. That cost is unchanged. So the revised purchase price is $162,793.40. We would recommend that purchase from Brainerd General Rental.
Commissioners, you've heard the request, the recommendation, barring any questions. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion, Chair.
We have the motion on the floor to set effect by Commissioner Carney, support. Support. And that motion is supported by Commissioner Sample. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried, request is approved.
Thank you. And that machine is, unlike most equipment that we purchase, that piece of equipment is available, and we will probably have it in our fleet within the month and out there working, so. Second item, this is the third time bringing this item to you. Basically, changing roadway designations. Initially, at the October 28th meeting, I introduced this topic. For the original time, kind of laid out a process of having a public input meeting at the November 25th board meeting, and then, if favorable, bringing it back before the end of the year to finalize some of the proposed designations. So we did hold that November 25th public hearing. You recall there was one comment on there about a potential swap with Wellthwood Township. I wasn't real prepared to address that at the public meeting at the time, because I wasn't aware that that request was going to be made. But since then, I just did some what-if scenarios. If we were even to consider that happening with that particular township. You recall that one of the reasons for bringing these roadway designations forward is that County Road 51 is at the top of our priority list for reconstructing to a paved road standard, which is going to cost $5 to $6 million, and we wanted to change it to a state aid route to basically facilitate that construction, which would be much more difficult to do and take longer as a county road using straight county funds. So what I did was I just did a what-if scenario. If we were to swap that road with Wellthwood Township, that road that we would receive would no longer be our top priority, just based on all of the criteria, all of the metrics that we put into our prioritization formula. It would drop to fourth or fifth in our priority. We don't get a lot of public comments on our road improvement program. I'm not sure why, but we don't seem to get a lot of public comments. But I can say that one of the roads that we get more public comments on than any is this County Road 51. And we've been telling people for a long time that, County Road 51, it's getting to the top of our list, and we want to see it improved as much as anybody. And now that it's finally there or close to being there, I just can't see, changing course and swapping with a township and kind of starting over. So, I wanted to give the impression that I considered that input, but I guess I'm here with the recommendation to continue with the path that we've outlined here and just keeping that county road route and, changing it to a state aid route to facilitate its construction. So that was really the only input that we heard at the public input meeting. We also did offer, in our public advertisement for people to call or submit written comments. We received none, so that was pretty much the only public comment we received, which brings us here, I guess, December 26th or December 16th. And I've proposed the resolutions that would effectuate 12 of the 13 changes that we've been discussing. And I guess before I go into those resolutions, I guess I'll just pause and see if there's any questions or any discussion.
Commissioners?
John, I think it's a good thought on 51. That road sure has had a lot of issues. I mean, flooding and snow, and it's just a terrible road for that high volume of traffic, I think. So, yeah, I'm all for your decision.
So, I was surprised, I guess, that nobody reached out, because I know I'd talked to some commissioners in, a neighboring county that did some of these changes, and their biggest complaints were that people's addresses were gonna change. We haven't heard any of that.
So Aiken County, back when we did 911 addressing, there was actually, some folks back then that wanted to use county road numbers as the official street name. And I wish I could, we were even one of those that was advocating for that. Rather than putting a name to every county road, just use the county road. It didn't happen. There is not a county road that has, that is the 911 street name. That's not the case with the state highways. We do use the state highways as the 911 street name, but we didn't, I'm trying to quickly go through to see if there's an exception. I don't believe there's an exception on the county road system, that none of our county roads are the street name for a resident's address. So, in retrospect, all these years later, it was a very good decision, that we decided not to use county road names. And because of that, yeah, these changes won't affect anyone's address. There is no one's address that will need to change as a result of.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was pointing out, because the other counties did do that,
Right.
their county roads were the number of their address, so.
Yeah, and it's,
They had a lot of complaints on that, so it did just kind of strike me as funny that we chose not to go that route. And then, like you said, all these years later, it's not gonna affect what we're doing, so it worked out.
and I would add that we are probably in the minority of counties that didn't do that. I would say most of them, when they went through their 911 addressing, I guess I don't have data, I don't have numbers, but just off the top of my head, I think a lot of them did use the county road names. We were probably in the minority, and like I said, it worked to our benefit here.
Do you want to proceed?
So then to proceed, I wanted to talk about these resolutions, and I feel bad that I couldn't simplify them more. I always try to keep things as non-complicated as possible, because when you're trying to describe, these routes, it's complicated enough just looking at the legal descriptions. So we tried to keep everything as simple as possible, and we spent a lot of time on this in the office trying to figure out what was the best way to effectuate these changes. So this is what we've come up with in the terms of the resolutions, and I'll just go through them one by one and explain them. The first resolution, don't worry, I'm not going to go through every word. I'm just going to summarize them. The first resolution basically just deals with the county state aid and county road designations. So on this resolution, we're basically describing the 15.8 miles of county state aid highways that are going to be redesignated as county road. And then by the same token, we are describing the 15.8 miles of county road that's going to become county state aid highway. And then in addition to that, we're renumbering a current state aid route to another number just for route continuity, so that the route stays the same as you're traveling on that route. So this is the first resolution. It only, like I said, it only describes the portion of the routes that are changing designation. So it describes all of those routes. Just if you look at the descriptions, they're not a survey level description. They're kind of just a general description using section corners and section lines. That's the first resolution. The second resolution then is a resolution to change the two county road routes, to revoke and change and redesignate those two county road routes into unorganized township roads, and likewise redesignate the two segments of unorganized township roads as county roads. The mileages there don't add up, so by this resolution, we're actually gaining 0.8 miles in county roads that will be maintained with our county road funds. The unorganized township system will be 0.8 miles smaller than it is currently. But again, the resolution just goes on to describe each of those four segments and the route numbers that they're changing into. So those two, I think, are fairly straightforward. The third resolution, the third resolution deals with, and this is the one that it's hard for me to explain and probably difficult to understand, but because of the changes because of the changes in the first two resolutions, we added a segment to a longer segment for those routes, like, for example, County State Aid Highway 5. County State Aid Highway 5 goes all the way up to northern Aitkin County, ends at County State Aid Highway 18 north of Palisade. So the first resolution added a short chunk to County Road 5. This resolution is basically describing the entire route of County Road 5 as it will exist if you pass the first two resolutions. And we need that resolution just as we proceed with the next step with the state of Minnesota to gain their approval to redesignate these routes. So we needed in the first two resolutions to describe the segments that we're changing, and then this third resolution is just for those 5 routes that are being added on to, 6, excuse me, that are being added on to. It's the new revised description of the entire route after the first two resolutions have been passed. So those are the 3 resolutions, Mr. Chair. If there's any further questions on those, I guess I would ask that they be addressed one at a time, just because, like I said, the third one is basically contingent on the first two.
Do it chronologically. Commissioners, questions, comments?
Did you write these resolutions?
Between myself and my staff, we did, yeah. We
I was gonna say, do you see the word resolution in your sleep at this point?
And whereas.
Yeah.
Well, commissioners, on the first of two, which are descriptive, is there a motion on the first one?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Sample, support.
Support.
That motion is supported by Commissioner LaVisca. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That resolution is passed. And the second one, also a descriptive.
Make that motion.
Another motion by Commissioner LaVisca, support.
Support.
Commissioner Sample supports that motion. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. And last but not least, the third, the new revised resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Westerland moves that resolution.
I'll support.
Commissioner Carney supports. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll call that question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is carried.
Very good.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for all your hard work on this,
Thank you for all
John.
that.
From this point, like I said, we'll submit the required paperwork to the state, and I guess when we hear back from them that they've approved it, different signs will go up in the field. I wanted to especially thank you because this, this isn't something like I explained at our first meeting that just came up. This is something that I think if I looked at my earliest revisions of this, they probably date back, 10 years ago when we were thinking about designating or thinking about improvements on County Road 5. So this has been a long time in the making, and of course it's changed, and we've added different routes over that time. But it's not every day that you can say that something that you've been working on that long is crossed off the list and hopefully on its way to completion. But that's the case with this. So thank you for that.
You bet. Thanks very much, John.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to
Yes.
say something, Mr. Welly here. I've had 4 calls, each of the last 2 storms. And usually I only get calls when people are complaining. But all 4 of them were talking about how your crews have the county roads better than the state roads. I'd like to thank you for that.
Thank you. I'll pass that along. Yeah. They've done a great job, and the state highways too. I think they did a great job too, these first 2 storms. Usually we get to ease into winter a little bit, not so much this year.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John. On to Human Resources. Bobby, welcome.
Hey,
I
Bobby.
still wanna say good morning every time somebody walks up.
How you doing, Bob?
I'm good, thank you. All
we got two items for you tonight. The first is a resolution to exit the Minnesota Merit System, which we're pretty excited about. This has been a long time coming. The Minnesota Department of Human Services completed a comprehensive review of our existing personnel administration system, and they've determined that we have, our system complies with the applicable federal merit system standards. So that means we can exit the merit system. This will save the county about $28,440 per year. So that's a nice savings to the budget. We're looking for a motion to authorize Aitkin County to withdraw from the merit system effective end of the day, December 31, 2025, and to adopt the attached resolution affirming that Aitkin County will operate under its existing personal administration policies and procedures for the HHS department effective January 1, 2026. So I can walk through that if you want, or if you've had time to read it. That is the request. It applies to all the hiring in
Your
the
wishes,
HHS
commissioners?
department.
You want a brief walkthrough?
Oh, I've read it thoroughly. In fact, I'd like to make the motion that,
Great, thank you.
we accept that.
Okay, motion on the floor to set effect by Commissioner Sample,
I'll support that.
and that motion supported by Commissioner LaVisca. Discussion?
Only question I'd have is to the administrator. Are you comfortable with this change?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Carney, I don't have it as a fact, but I may be the only county administrator who gets to sign 2 withdrawal resolutions.
Nice.
Because we accomplished it in another county I worked for. And I used to be the county representative on the Minnesota Merit Board,
Okay.
and I fully support withdrawal.
It's good to know.
That's what I like to hear.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you. And the next agenda item is a request to adopt a resolution establishing elected officials' salaries effective January 1, 2026. There was a PowerPoint packet or a presentation in your packet, and that contains information like the current and proposed salaries, the comparison county data, like the market data, their years of experience, budgeting, staffing, et cetera. Do you want to run through that PowerPoint presentation, or have you had time prior to review that?
Well, we've got time.
Okay,
Commissioners, a brief review of it?
It's fine with me.
I'll agree with that, Mr. Chair.
Give me 1 second, Bobby.
okay. Oh, hi, Lori. Lori's online, I can see.
You click there now.
Okay. All right, so we'll start with the current salaries. On the first page, this shows you the 2025 actual salaries versus what the elected official is requesting. So as an example, the attorney, you can see, is at 162 and would go to 172, which represents a 6% increase consistent with internal pattern settlement. The treasurer is requesting an increase from 107,077 to 117,077, which is a 9.34% increase, and we'll focus on that one a little bit further as we get into the presentation. The recorder is at 88.2 and would go to 93.4, and the sheriff at 139, going to 147, and both of those last two represent a 6% increase as well. Our comparison counties, we have arbitrator recognized. This is not moving forward.
Yeah. Oop.
Okay. That works. Thank you. We have 7 counties that we normally compare to, and those are all arbitrator recognized counties. There are contiguous counties except St. Louis. So
Right.
those are the ones that we look at whenever we do salary comparisons. Next slide. I won't go through all of this, but the crux of this is that there's a lot of information that the boards are expected to take into consideration when they set elected officials' salaries. And you do that every year. You know, you look at the experience and the budget, and you consider performance and market, et cetera. The elected officials do have the right to appeal their salaries if they believe that the board was arbitrary and capricious in setting the salaries, so. Move forward to years of service. The attorney has been with Aitkin County for over 29 years, treasurer over 25 years, recorder 8+ years, and the sheriff over 31 years. So they've got a lot of tenure with Aitkin County. And you can see on the right-hand side how long they've been in their current positions. The attorney, more than 18 years, treasurer, more than 18 years, recorder 2+ and the sheriff 6+. Budget and staffing, the next page. I won't go through each of those numbers, but you're intimately familiar with the budgets, having just adopted those. External market comparisons are on the next slide. And I'll just point to, if you look at the far left column, that shows the position. So if you look at the attorney as the first line, Aitkin County's attorney is at 162, and then we've got Cass, Crow Wing, Kanabec, Mille Lacs, Pine, Carlton, Itasca, and the next column shows you an average of all those externals. So the average external is 161.9, close to where we're at. The treasurer there's really not good data in our external comparison group for the treasurer. Because they have combined auditor treasurer positions.
Okay.
The recorder, you can see, is at 88.2, and the average is 108. The sheriff is at 139, and the average is 147. And when you make, for example, on the sheriff, I'll just point that out as an example. If you give him a 6% increase, he winds up around 147, but that's 25 data, so he's still 6% behind the market, if you will, as an example, and Terra 23%. All right, on to the next. Internal market comparisons. The county attorney, recorder, and sheriff are requesting a 6% salary increase. That's consistent with internal pattern settlement. And the county treasurer, you can see her letter on the right there, is requesting a 9.34%. Years ago, in 2010, 11, and 13, the treasurer received a 0% salary increase, and that is likely reflective of the reason that she's a little bit behind where some of our other internals are with similar years' experience, because they received
Say that
increases
again?
when she got a 0%. There were some years where the elected officials, the department heads, were given 0%, while other staff may have got a adjustment. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but maybe they got a 3% increase where some of the elected department heads got a 0.
Yeah, I've never heard that before, so,
Oh,
I mean, I'd never heard,
yep.
so I'm just wondering what years that was.
It was 2011. It's in your packet there. It was
10, 11,
2010,
and 13.
2011, and 2013.
Oh, so it was 10, 11, and 13,
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
yep.
due to budget
Due to the
constraints.
crash and all the crap.
It was when,
There was
Floods.
rationale.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
those were tough budget years.
Very tough.
Okay. So, next one is just a closer look at the treasurer's position. When we received that request being higher than 6%, we took a real deep dive into, okay, well, what's the treasurer's years of experience with Aitkin County and in the current position, and how does that compare to other positions at the same grade level? We actually looked at grade 13, 14, and 15, because the treasurer falls into a grade 14. And we compared their longevity, where their current pay is, we were able to see, and you can see on the right-hand side there, if you can read those numbers in your packet, they're kind of small, but the folks that are closest to her in tenure average about 113.5 currently, whereas she's at 107. So there is that disparity, and those folks will be going up to as high as 119,000. So her request for 117,000 appears to be reasonable, but that's where you decide the reasonableness. The resolution, the resolution is the last thing in the packet, and that's where you'll need to decide what route you want to go. If you're open to what they've proposed, there is a resolution in today's packet for that. We were also asked to bring a resolution that showed 6% for all of them, and I don't know if the elected officials have anything to offer, but I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and I'll just open it up to the board.
I have a question.
Commissioner Westerland?
So have we looked at the combined amount? What is, you know, because that's just one position instead of two then? If it's combined, recorder, I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around.
There, in our comparison county group, there are no standalone county treasurers. There's only combined auditor treasurers.
Right.
We did look at, you know,
So does
counties
that
outside
combined
of
mean
that.
that one person does auditor treasurer or?
Yes. Yep,
By
that's exactly
title.
what it
Yeah,
means.
it's a combined position.
Yeah,
And then they have a department
And then
head.
do we
yep.
talk about the difference in salary there? You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's not
Do you know it?
combined yet.
But I guess it wouldn't be applicable because it's,
Yeah,
well,
it's
the
just
auditor
kind of
and
weird
treasurers
that,
are simple, separated.
yeah.
Typically, you're gonna see the auditor treasurer salaries come back higher
Right.
in a combined class than you would
Sure,
a standalone auditor or a
sure,
standalone treasurer.
absolutely.
But it's still one person doing two jobs
Correct. Yep.
that we
With
have separated
delegation.
out.
Right,
Right, with help and delegation. Yeah, exactly.
yep.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's helpful to think of it versus, not one person doing two jobs, but one person responsible for the statutory duties of
both.
Right.
both positions.
Right.
Very well put.
Thank you.
So they would get a higher,
Yes.
Yeah, as
Typically a
as
higher
has
wage.
been
Yep.
stated, yes. And we didn't gather that data because it doesn't seem like a good comparison.
okay,
And so we're not, I mean, we could, but I think intuitively, that would be a higher amount of salary than a
Oh, and
standalone
that
treasurer, so.
might be something to talk about. I mean, to combine, I mean, that to me would be,
And it's certainly been discussed,
yeah. Okay,
entertained.
just, I mean, I just have questions about it.
Good
'cause,
discussion.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not too many counties left that aren't combined, are there?
that's correct, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And we're so small. Well, we're not small, but we're small.
Yeah. I believe we did request that data when we did the
I
salary
think when
survey, but we
we did it
didn't
when-
include it in here because the numbers were
No,
just so much.
okay,
They
okay.
were not good comparisons. Some of the other counties also have different structures too, you know, they might have like Crow Wing County, for example, has a completely different structure for that department.
Okay.
Commissioner Carney?
Just for clarification, in your briefing, you stated that with these percentage increase, the treasurer and the sheriff will still be behind 6%, correct?
The-
Of
the
2026?
Yeah, the sheriff would, well, it depends on where his comparable,
Well,
counties
the
go.
comparables you're giving
yeah.
us is still
He's
showing us they're
6%
behind.
behind.
Yeah,
His-
and the treasurer will be also
And if we
6%
give
behind.
him 6% more, I mean, and those other counties go up, he's just gonna probably be 6% behind still or whatever.
Exactly, it
Yeah.
keeps climbing.
So, and yeah, Tara was 23% behind in that same comparison.
Right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner LaVista.
what numbers were used in the preliminary budget for those salaries?
6%.
Across the board.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yep. I will note that the treasurer did request a higher number in there, but that would be, but what was applied was a consistent 6%, and the difference would be about $4,000, 4,100.
I don't know, Bobby, but in the comparisons, did that compare longevity in that office,
In the current position, yes.
in the current
Yeah.
position?
Yeah. And again, those internal ones went up to about 119, and her request is around 117.
Right.
Mr. Chair, just, Bobby, to clarify that, the external comparisons that you show for the treasurer don't indicate anything for longevity.
That's what I,
duration or.
Are you talking about external or
Yeah,
internal?
the external.
External do not include
So that's,
longevity.
we don't know how long those the external comparisons have been in their
For no
office.
longevity.
Right.
and that was the basis of my question. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
What, last year, the last several years, did we not just go across the board
Yeah.
with a fixed percent just for equality purposes? Well, it's a matter of fact. I mean, it can be looked up, but that's my recollection.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
That's what I recall too.
Yep.
But
I mean,
we'll,
that doesn't mean, I think you did give maybe the sheriff more a couple of years back.
It was a couple years ago, I think,
yeah.
yeah, that we made those.
There was a
I'd have
bump.
to
we were trying to.
pull that number up, but you have made exceptions in the past, and we've done, even with like some of the union settlements, we've made special adjustments when we identify there's a need. We've given retention bonuses to deputies, we've given market adjustments to many staff.
And I don't recall how long, but in the case of the sheriff, they were also the emergency management director, which they received another stipend. Excuse me, I want to say 5,000.
Not in recent years that I recall.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah, dispatchers and,
Yeah,
wasn't
but
that 2 years? Trying to catch everybody up to speed because everybody's
dispatchers and
shorthanded.
jailers, yes, they received, I
Yeah.
think, a $2 an hour increase
Couldn't
at one
keep
point.
help.
Yep,
Triple,
that
double
turnover was high,
overtime.
and the board addressed it by
And
allowing
how big is the
adjustment.
sheriff's budget? Can he,
That is.
8 million?
Not quite,
Yep, just about 7.9.
7.9 million.
right in there.
Yeah, and he sees over, let's see, what's he says, his staffing is over 70.
Yep. He's requesting a,
So 3 have requested a 6%, correct?
That's correct.
correct.
And we only have 1 at
And I think,
9.
just year after year, the sheriff has said, you know, he'd pay him at the average, that would be good with him. So,
And 6% on 150,000 is a lot more dollars and cents than 6% at 40,000, which we settled. I'm not opposed
Yeah.
to the 6% across the board. But in the terms of dollars and cents, a 6% on a, 140,000, that's a pretty fair chunk.
I'm okay with if, I mean, what are you gonna do? 6% across the board? I don't wanna go up and down to different entities. I wanna be treated the same, just like us. Just like anybody else would wanna be. I think they all do wonderful jobs. They all do great service. They've been here a long time and I just, boy, we gotta get some stuff coming down the road here the next couple of years.
Yes, we
So
do.
I just, I know everybody is so worthy of more. I mean, we're all worth more. Well, some of us are. No, I'm kidding. So, yeah, just, I'm good with 6% across the board.
Commissioner
If I
Carney?
might, I'm looking at the increase per dollar amount across the board, right? You got the attorney, and with a 6% increase is like $10,000, right? With the requested 9% with the treasurer, it's $10,000. The recorder's is a little under that, and then the sheriff is like 1,000 under that.
Are you saying that they all should make the same? because
Well,
they can't, because of the education.
I understand that, but I'm looking at the dollar amount figures of the increase of their wages.
Right.
Now, the treasurer is well far behind, as it was stated. You know, the increase it has, and the margin there is a gap. So, do we want to assume that gap now, or do we want to do this later down the road? Is the question, because you're going to have to make the equality like we did with the other employees to make them, you know, equitable market rates. You see where I'm coming from?
I understand that.
Yeah. And then my question is, do we want to do it now or do we want to do it down the road? Because we're going to have to do it at some time. I mean,
Unless things change,
that's absolutely,
and that is a possibility.
sure.
Also, if you look at the external comparables for the counties that do still have it separated, I mean, we're not behind.
No, we're not.
So, Lori, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're in favor of a 6% across the board for all. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
It never goes down. We know that.
Oh, no.
And when you get to these numbers, I know it's not gonna fly, but I have long been an advocate of an across-the-board, fixed dollar amount across the board. Otherwise, you just keep increasing
Yeah, but
the gaps.
a percentage across the board.
A flat rate across the board. I'm not proposing that, I'm just saying that
It's an option. It's up to the board. What do you wanna do?
is there a motion?
Sure, I'll make the motion.
Okay,
6%
across the board for all.
across the board for the elected officials.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to that effect, by Commissioner Westerland, 6% across the board for all the, elected officials, non-commissioner elected officials. Is there support to that motion?
I'll support that.
And that motion is supported by Commissioner Leviska.
Mr. Chair, with your permission, since the board sets salaries in dollars, not percents,
Yeah.
here's a resolution I'll hand out that has the actual
Oh, do you
dollar
want me to
amounts.
have it?
And that's at the 6%.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the point I was trying to get at.
Thank you for having that.
Just kicking a can down the road. That's all we're doing.
Thank you.
I'll give you a minute to look at it if you'd like.
Yeah, so this is the resolution we're looking at, that we have the motion in the second.
Yes.
And Mr. Chair, Treasurer Lori Grams, I believe, is online. I don't know if you wanted to have any conversation with her or invite her to make any comments or not. She is the one person whose request is not.
6%.
Yeah, I think the board would be open to any comment that she would have, just out of courtesy.
I would like to hear what she has to say, Mr. Chair.
Too.
Okay,
I will unmute Lori then. She is currently muted. Lori, just so you know, I'm unmuting you.
Maybe.
Maybe that'll work. Lori, do you want to try and unmute yourself? You should be able to.
Now go.
Lori, are you with us?
Can't hear.
Yeah.
If you wanted to make any comments, you're still muted.
She can hear us, we can't hear her. April's having trouble unmuting.
No, we can't hear you.
Can you sign to us, Lori?
She can hear us.
There is a chat feature.
Lori, if you want to try chatting,
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
are you getting any chat? Maybe she hasn't sent yet.
Don't start cussing.
Isn't that weird? Can't get it.
Lori, do you have a phone with you? I can give you my cell number. You can call that and I'll just put you on speaker.
Rather than announcing that, do you wanna, or?
Can you message it to
I've
her?
got her number.
Oh, you have her number?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd probably be best.
Technology is amazing when it works.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Hi. I've got somebody. Yeah, I'll just put the.
It's David.
You're on, yep, you're on speaker.
Let me try and turn this down. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. I'm sorry I'm not there in person. Someone earlier had made a reference to treasurers that are in other counties or there still are individual offices. Grant County, for example, their individual has been in there since 2023. The one comparison you have, Meeker County, they have been in that office since 2025. And Red Lake County, they like me, have been in there since 2007. Just for me, I feel like things are getting a little skewed because of the percentages that we use. The fact there were 3 years where those of us who were elected at that point in time received the 0%. So to compare to internal, that's where you end up with, the variation of those numbers between my salaries and others that are internal. I'm not sure who the individuals are that you have for the internal comparison. One question I would wonder with that is, are those department heads? Are they staff level employees? That I'm not sure as far as what you were provided. And I just feel that my request is not unreasonable based upon my experience, qualifications, the fact that I've been with the county since 2000, started in the auditor's office, then was elected into the treasurer's office in 2007.
Those would be leadership team positions. by
Yeah.
the way.
Lori, anything else that you'd like to add?
No, not this time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
And remand back to the commissioners for further discussion. Any further discussion?
Well, Chair, if I might, I've made my point clear. I think that all we're doing by not increasing the county treasurer and looking at the sheriff, I know what his request was. He wants to be comparable, and the comparisons is not there. I think that we're just kicking the can down the road. That's the way I feel.
And I'd agree with that.
Further discussion? Not, we'll call the question by roll call vote. We'll go counterclockwise, starting with Commissioner Westerland,
Aye.
Commissioner LaVisca, Commissioner Sample,
No.
Commissioner Carney,
No.
and I will vote in favor of the motion. The motion prevails on a 3-2 vote. LaVisca, Westerland, Weedle voting in favor, Carney and Sample voting opposed. Motion's carried.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Bobby, anything else?
That was the last item I had. Thank you.
Okay,
Have a
thank
nice
you.
evening. Yep.
Well, we're shaving things right on target here. On to Commissioner Committee updates. Michael, do you want to?
Sure, I can. We had the AMC conference. I will let Travis give a quick brief on that. I'm going to brief on the Board of Directors meeting that we had. One of the big discussions there was what Plat 3, how many items are we going to, is AMC going to project as their item? We could have done 7, 5, 3, 2, 1, whatever. There was long discussion on that, and it came out that the three, we settled on 3 items for the platform for us to push through legislation. One was technology modernization, which we all know that deals with Health and Human Services. The second one was SNAP Medicaid, what we know we're facing. And then the other one was the MAA, FPA, CWDA. That is the Health and Human Services with concerning children. The reason we narrowed it down in our thought process was it's going to be a critical year in legislation this coming year. And those, we wanted to focus on 3 hot topic priorities. We know that we have a severe problem in Health and Human Services with the technology modernization. And if we can get that addressed, or an avenue that they will listen to us on approach, we have ideas on how to approach and fix this process to make it, and it's not just 4 or 5 commissioners. This is the commissioner that, through the Health and Human Services directors working together, trying to figure out a system on how to better service the constituents. With that, all my other meetings are this week, so I will yield, sir.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Sample?
Not much to report on the Natural Resources Board. That was pretty plain Jane. Our facilities has been pushed off till Friday.
And I have a call in to Jim to see if it's more of an update or are there decisions. I haven't heard back yet.
And AIS, Mr. Chairman, you have talked offline about that. I will leave that be. And the rest of my meetings are all between now and Christmas, and it's not gonna be much with
December.
the holidays.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Commissioner LaVisca?
Yeah, just had AMC, like Commissioner Carney had pointed out. I intended to get down to the rural counties and didn't make it in time on Sunday, so I'll be getting the minutes from there and compiling a report on that for the next meeting. I did have the general government down there. There were a total of 16 new and 3 amended platform items passed at AMC. Just a couple of the notable ones through general government. Passed an amendment on the policy. AMC has always supported getting rid of the moratorium on nuclear power facilities, but we've also added that we would support pushing or incentivizing building of micro facilities. Because as the talk for data centers is always up, those use a lot of energy, and a lot of them build like a micro nuclear facility to run that. So we're looking at pushing that. let's see, a couple of the other big ones. There, took a platform item to support legislation to completely revamp the property tax system in Minnesota, since we do have the most complex and tricky one to
Oh, yeah,
go through.
yes.
And then, obviously pushing for more, rural EMS funding, but, I have the whole slat here if anybody wants to see them all, but there's a lot of it. And, I did go to a, workshop there, that was put on by Cass and Hubbard counties, who did do a local EMS taxing district.
Oh.
So they have a lot of good information on the path they use to get that.
Could I get a copy of that from
Pass
you?
that down, I got another one.
I've got a copy of that also.
And
I think there'll be a time when we'll be addressing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we'll probably discuss that, because that outlines their entire process. They did get a lot of public involvement and had a lot of public support in doing that. So,
And just an FYI, on the January Association of Aitkin County Townships, Kevin Lee, North Memorial,
we'll be there.
will be making a presentation.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the process that they used is really good. They have 2 commissioners from each county on that board that oversees the taxing district. So, that's all I had was.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner LaVisca.
If I could, sorry, Dave, will you do yours after, at the end? You covered public safety.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, thanks for covering that. I had CARE this morning, lot of things going on.
I guess so.
They've decided that, the owners of the Birch Street Center are just gonna close up and decide to figure out how that's all gonna work. You know, when someone's not healthy in the family, that's kinda the way it goes, but. So we are opening up shop over at Posh, it's kinda over by the 40 Club. We'll have 2 offices there. We're also opening up a shop in Palisade. So we'll have Care Palisade and Aitkin Care and, yeah, Aitkin Care and Palisade Care. We are doing very well at this point. Just trying to organize stuff and get things moved and get out of that building. They were trying to get out of there by today, so. Anyway, more news to come, I guess. We'll figure it out. So that's really all I had.
Always hurdles to jump.
Money, it's all about money.
Thanks very much,
Yep.
Lori. I had 2, economic development was, Commissioner Sample was there, primarily updates, right, Brett?
Yes.
And the only other one, the Aitkin Airport, we are probably tomorrow submitting, finally, they're accepting grants for terminal buildings. And this is for the Minnesota Dakota Aeronautics through the FAA. And knock on wood, our engineers are cautiously optimistic. We'll see what happens. But once that gets submitted, I'll be making some lobby calls across the board, so, for whatever that's worth. Anything else, Commissioners? Dave, anything you want to close with here?
Mr. Chair, I would just update on the Public Safety Committee. There was one policy amendment, and that was a provision to request DOC give more clarity in its interpretation of Minnesota Rules 2911, particularly with regard to the medical side of things. And then there was general discussion on jails and cost of jails and collaboration amongst counties on how to more efficiently manage jails. So I assume that's gonna be another future conversation for that committee.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah.
You know, McGregor 2 weeks ago had a veteran hang himself.
Yeah.
This is that time of year for suicide. I recommend everybody reach out. And if you know somebody's in dire need, we need to reach out. We're better as citizens, we're better as veterans. And I'd just like to remind everybody that during this holiday season is when suicide rates go up.
Good point, Commissioner, thank you. Anything else? With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. Mr.
Commissioner
Chair.
Sample moves to adjourn, support. Supported Commissioner LaVisca. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. We'll take about a 10-minute recess and set up for the truth and taxation. And those of you in the audience, we will be having what's called the truth and taxation or budget hearing. I see some of you may have your property tax statements. Are you here to discuss your assessed value? Or are you here to listen to the budget, proposed budget?
I was sure it listens to about a 71% increase in my property tax. Why? You know,
Proposed?
proposed.
Because a lot of times, and maybe the people, Dave, if you want to just check to make sure they're not here thinking it's the Board of Adjustment and Equalization meeting. Yeah. Because if you're here to question your assessed value, okay, then we have the assessor's office's staff downstairs.
I talked to someone else before I came up.
Okay. I just didn't want people to sit through thinking this was something that it's not, so.
Will you be explaining, so she indicated that it had to do with with taconite credit as part of the reason of the increase.
Well, that was a misnomer. Did you read that in the Aitkin paper?
Well, she was telling me that downstairs.
Who was telling you that?
I guess I didn't get her.
One of our staff people?
Yeah, I believe she had a name tag.
Okay,
I didn't look at the name though.
that will be addressed. I've asked our administrator to address that. There's been some misinformation out there in the paper about losing taconite. Anyway, that will be part of the discussion. April?
That's it for me. Yeah.
Here, I can grab it. Any chance I could bother you for your signature?
Praise him. Smile, Kathleen. Where else at 6 o'clock at night can you be spending?
Time with all these wonderful people.
So blessed.
Right? Here's my excitement. Dave's doing the presentation and I am not.
Oh, wow.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Right.
Yeah, we can say that, can't we?
Yeah, we can.
Chris, before you leave, I've got something.
Of course.
We will call this meeting to order, this meeting being the Truth and Taxation meeting for the Aitkin County 2026 budget. I would ask you to please stand. We'll begin with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome guests, staff, visitors present with us this evening. This will be a presentation of our 2026 proposed budget. Following the presentation, the floor will be open to comments or questions. With that, I will turn it over to County Administrator David Mengy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm going to try to stand with my back this way so that the folks in the audience can get a little bit more of the presentation as well. So good evening. Welcome to the Aitkin County Truth and Taxation meeting. I need to start tonight by noting it's strange to be presenting a budget that I did not work on. However, many of the people who did work on it are here tonight, and I need to recognize them for their hard work and diligence. Part of our county mission statement is to provide outstanding service in a fiscally responsible manner. In the short time I have gotten to work with you commissioners and department heads and staff, it's clear to me that you have crafted a budget that does accomplish that mission, and I want to thank you for that. And I also want to introduce Kathleen Ryan, who is the county auditor, who, if there are detailed questions, I am certain that I will be deferring to because she has a much more intimate knowledge of what went into this 2026 budget. And taxation is in the name of the meeting tonight, the Truth and Taxation meeting. And I want to share a quote from George Washington that frames taxes in a way I hope we can all agree with. So in Washington's farewell address, he said, "It is essential that you should practically bear in mind," they talked or wrote a little differently back then than we do today. "It's essential that you should practically bear in mind that towards the payment of debts, there must be revenue, that to have revenue, there must be taxes, and that no taxes can be devised which are not more or less inconvenient and unpleasant." So if there's a theme for tonight, I would go with inconvenient and unpleasant, right? Because it is about taxation, which is a serious matter. And it's probably one of the hardest things that as an elected board that you have to do is to levy taxes. So if we go to the clicker's over here. If we go to
Uh-oh. Need the battery.
All right, thank you. This first slide shows the total county budget 2025 versus 2026. And if you start at the bottom in kind of that middle column that's labeled 2026 budget at the very bottom, $51,513,678. That is the county budget, the total amount of money that is being proposed to be spent. On the left column, you see the various funds. The first three funds, the general fund, the road and bridge fund, and the health and human services fund, are the funds that contain most of the expense, most of the employees, most of the activity, and those are the ones that we're going to talk about in more detail tonight. And so looking across this chart, you can see that the general fund, which is primarily sheriff's office, county attorney's office, most of the row offices or the services on the first floor in the courthouse, HR, admin, all of those general county services. Road and Bridge is pretty self-explanatory, and HHS is Health and Human Services. And so you can see how those have changed from year to year. Our county engineer, John, is in the back there, looking at that 37.28% and going, holy cow, I'm kind of standing out in this presentation. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's not necessarily a bad thing and is not impacting the property taxes. And so this is just high-level funding 2025 compared to 2026. So the total expenditures are projected to go up by about 11.5%. This chart looks very similar. Left column is the same, but it's comparing 2026 revenue to 2026 expenditure. So that expenditure column are the same numbers that were on the previous slide, and this shows the net. So if you have a negative number, that generally is bad, meaning that you're spending more money than you have revenue. In this case, those negative numbers are where reserve spending comes in. And so the board talked a lot about wise use of reserve funding and where to apply that. And so this chart shows where those reserve funds are being applied. A little graph that shows or answers the question, where does most of the money go? 51% of the budget is on salary and benefits. And as a county, we're a service organization. We don't make things, we deliver services. And so people are our most expensive and most important resource. Second most is that contracted services that includes things like road and bridge contracts, as well as other professional services contracts. And then you see the other pieces of the pie are relatively small in comparison. The tax levy. Most of you are here motivated by that truth and taxation statement and what the levy is doing to your property taxes. The levy is a part of what we spend. And so again, if you start at the bottom of this chart under the levy 2026 column, kind of in the middle. So we have that $50+ million budget, just under 19 million of that is levy. So there's a lot of other money that goes into the budget. This chart just shows the levy. So in the general fund, the levy portion is $11 million. It's increasing 7% from 2025. And so I'll let everyone just look at the chart to kind of see how road and bridge, the levy's going down, health and human services, the levy amount is going up. And then the total levy, that bottom right-hand column, is a number that you may have seen in the newspaper, but that's the 5.24% levy increase that's based on the preliminary levy. So in the general fund, there's a lot of non-property tax levy that goes into it. The biggest one of that is PILT, or payment in lieu of taxes. The biggest portion of that $1.9 million is state payments on tax forfeited lands. Then there's county program aid, interest on investments, the community corrections subsidy. I don't really like that word because we're the subsidy piece, but I'm not sure how else to explain it, but it's the state portion of probation. And so it's a quasi-state local function that the county is carrying a lot of weight on, but does get some funding from the state. Planning and zoning, permit fees, motor vehicle licenses, police state aid. The township assessor fees are fees that we charge the townships. And then there's that HHS cost allocation. That's an effort that's allowed under the law to capture some of the overhead of administering those federal human services programs. Taking a little snapshot of the general fund, and I apologize, I'm not sure what happened to that slide from when I looked at it, but that total of those I was trying to compare the 2025 to 2026.
63,000.
Yeah. Oh.
63,706.
Check notes. So that shows, yeah, the decrease of $63,706 shows the deficit. And then the levy portion, so in the general fund, 58% of all of the general fund is paid for by the levy. These are, apologize, this formatting like went a little wonky. These are all right. So these are the general fund departments that are over $200,000. Corrections, the jail is the most expensive single department that we have. The sheriff's enforcement or the sheriff patrol is next. Attorney is next. Community corrections is next. Those four departments, those public safety departments, are 52% of the general fund. And so clearly, much of the general fund is dedicated to public safety. Public safety is a priority of counties and of Aitkin County. Then the other departments, you can see up there. Road and Bridge Fund, this is where it looks like it is going up 37%. And it is, that is project-based spending. And so the county gets county state aid money for roads. We're getting a substantial increase next year, about $5.5 million more than this year. That's driving spending. It's not driving the levy. And so if you look just at the operating piece of highway, it's only increasing 1.6%. And so overall, the levy is only 18% of the highway budget. And then Health and Human Services, this is where this department is probably under the most fiscal stress and the most operational stress going into 2026 and beyond because of changes to federal programs and state programs in ramping up requirements and also decreases in funding. And so there is planned use of reserves here of $109,000 and the increase overall is 5.4%. So this, I never was a good math student, so I have to show my work. If you wanted to ask the question, how are my property taxes calculated? You would take your taxable property, like a residential homestead is the example I use, times the class rate, which is, there's about 64 class rates in the state of Minnesota. Homestead, residential is 1%. Those 64 or 63-ish other classes have different numbers, but for our purposes, we'll use 1% for a homestead. And you do the value times the class rate, you get the tax capacity of $3,000. If you add up all of those tax capacities from every property in the county, you get that $60 million number. That's the total tax capacity. You take the levy, which is the $18,981,045, subtract out this thing called fiscal disparities, that $179,000, and that's kind of a back room calculation that the auditor does. You come up with this number that is divided out amongst all of the tax capacity to create the tax capacity rate. So at the end of the day, your $300,000 home or has a $3,000 tax capacity, you take that times the 31.29 tax capacity rate, your property taxes would be $939 to the county. So not school, not city, not township, not anything else, just county.
The state.
Not state. If you have a commercial industrial property, you're paying, or a recreational property, you're paying a property tax to the state.
Okay.
And there is one more piece that's impacting us significantly this year that I want to call out, and that is the taconite credit. So in the law, there are two credits. There's a taconite homestead credit, and then there's a supplemental homestead credit. If you live within ISD 1, the Aitkin School District, you are in the supplemental homestead credit area, and you get on your property taxes a credit of up to $289.80. So in 2024, the legislature changed the taconite homestead credit. It did not change the supplemental credit. However, the 4 or 5 counties that have supplemental credit areas all changed the credit. So there was an error on the 2025 taxes that gave those people a little bit of a tax break. The total was about $600,000. All the commissioners are nodding because they've been through this. So on your 2026 taxes, that has been corrected. And it's gone from, if you got it, it went from 515 back to 289. And so here's a property tax statement, and it shows 2024 and 2025, and I highlighted the taconite reliefs, where in 2024 you see it was $289.80. In 2025 it's $515. If we go to 2026, your TNT notice, that number, and this is the same property, is back to $289. And so if you do the math, you'll see that this property in the city of Aitkin had a 15.8% tax increase. If you factored out that error, in other words, if the error was never made, that increase would be 5.4%. So I think the theme of the night was inconvenient and unpleasant. There's no good way to say people got a break last year, and because of that break last year, they're getting a double whammy this year. But a lot of people are feeling that extra increase based on that change from 515 down to 289.
Right.
And wanted to show kind of a one over the world, who pays the most property tax to Aitkin County. This is just the county portion. It's not, it doesn't include, there's a fiscal disparities piece, there's a state of Minnesota piece, if you're a commercial property, none of that is here. This is just the money going to Aitkin. So you see Enbridge is far and away the top line. They're at 3.9 million. Various parts of Enbridge show up on 2 other lines. So they are pushing, that $4 million mark as far and away the biggest taxpayer. And then you can see the other ones on the list. I include a debt slide because we obviously budget year to year, but we have some long-term debt. The debt we have, there's $8.4 million. This was as of the end of '24. Payment is just under $700,000 a year, and that will be paid off in 2039. And we do have cash available, and that's the reserves that can be spent if needed. And this just shows the different funds that the cash is held. You see those last 2, Long Lake Conservation Center and Parks, those actually have deficits in their cash balances. So in 2026, we'll probably be having conversation about those and how do we get those to be positive balances. What risks are there in the 2026 budget? Well, we have this continued economic uncertainty. Some unemployment numbers came out today. The unemployment numbers are looking a little bit worse than we would probably hope. And the one statistic I heard, or the one measure I heard that was maybe interesting, is part-time unemployment has significantly gone up, which often is an indicator of a weakening job market. We do have this looming state budget deficit. I think we're gonna have our work cut out for us starting mid-February. of trying to keep the state from making additional cuts to the state shared revenue that we have. We have an increase in health and human services requirements that we'll have to be meeting both starting in 2026 and then significantly more in 2027. And then we do have some funds that are using fund balance. So we have a structural imbalance. In the short term, that can make sense. Long term, you know, you can't spend more money than you take in because you'll end up in a unsustainable deficit situation. So the final budget and levy will be considered next Tuesday at the regular county board meeting. And that's where the commissioners will have the opportunity to set the final budget and final levy. And so that concludes my presentation, subject to questions.
Thank you, County Administrator. Kathleen, is there anything you'd like to chime in on?
No, I think David covered it very well. We're coming in with a 5.24% increase, which we've talked about before. All other pieces of the budget have set. Should note that the fund balance or the reserve spending that we have in the budget is planned reserved spending. So there's certain items that are like one-time expenditures that we have budgeted for to spend those reserves down.
Thank you. With that, we've come to the portion for public input, and we will adhere to our citizens' public comment rules, which we'd ask you to state your name and where you live, and limit it to 5 minutes per person. And I'd ask too that you come up to the podium. I'd just like you to bear in mind that the taxes, as indicated by our county administrator, city, township, school, county, state general in some cases, we can only speak to the county portion here tonight. So unless there's any comments from the commissioners.
I've got one question, Mr. Chair. With 51% of our budget going towards salary, this new mandated starting in January paid leave, family leave, how is that gonna affect us and how are we planning? I mean, how do you plan for that? I didn't mean to open up the can of worms, but it's something that I think we need to talk about.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Sample, that is an additional expense that counties and all employers, with rare exception in Minnesota, whether it's public or private, will be having to provide this paid family leave program. The state has a state-operated program that Pine County, oh my God, that Aitkin County is participating in, that we will be contributing 0.88% of payroll to the state, much like workers' compensation as far as how it runs. The employee will split that cost and pay half of it. So Aitkin County employees will contribute 0.44%, and the county itself will contribute 0.44%. And that's the one expense. The other expense is if a person takes advantage of this leave, which can be 12 weeks or potentially longer, depending on the situation, and the county has to backfill that position or pay overtime to others to cover that position, that will be an additional expense as well. Was that answering your question?
I mean, that answers my question, but it's something that, how do you plan for that? I'm just saying, because you don't know, come January, we'll see what happens, but it's also gonna affect all of our small businesses and big businesses out here. This is gonna crush my district, for sure.
It's additional. Commissioner Westerland?
When do we start giving the state money, collecting money to give to them? 23? No?
This paid family leave program goes into effect January 1st,
Okay.
2026, so a
Is
couple
that through
weeks.
payroll deduction?
Yeah, it's through a payroll deduction.
Okay.
So you match it like Social Security unemployment. Now, let's again open it up to public comment. I'd like to reiterate No decisions on the final budget are going to be made this evening. This is strictly a presentation to show the public where the county revenues come from and where the expenditures go. At our next meeting next week, that's when the final levy will be considered. And something will be passed at that time. So right now, we'll go to public input. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to come up to the podium. And again, if you'd state your name for the record, that'd be great.
Come on.
Somebody's got to be first. And again, if you could speak into the microphone, sir.
I can put that back in the center, I'm sorry.
My name is Jim Viney, and I live in Aitkin County in Kimberly Township. I'm just here, listen to him talk through his whole budget thing, but it doesn't explain to me how come my property taxes went up over 70%. None of what he said, there's 5-point increase in the Aitkin County, and I was wondering who was gonna explain to me how come, I've lived in the county for 50 years. I'm a retired, I live on a fixed income. Everything else, all my expenses are going up. Just like he was talking, how am I supposed to plan for a proposed increase of 70% in my property tax? I just need someone to try to explain that to me.
And Mr. Viney, have you broken it down into city or township, county, school?
Well, my actual in 25 was $135. My proposed is $250. That's almost 100% increase.
Sure.
And my township, and I have to address that one too, they went up over 100% increase. I don't know how you can explain that to me.
David?
I'd be happy to look at the tax statement. I don't know if I want to do it right now in the middle of the meeting, but if you're able to wait until.
Well, and I also understand you said it was proposed, but at what point is it, you know, where at what point is it gonna be decided that that's what it's gonna be?
As far as the county portion, it will be next Tuesday.
I'll stay a little while, but.
And then also, downstairs at the counter at the assessor's office, they may be able to look at your specific property. Each property is a little bit different regarding the tax increase or the change. And so to look at your specific property and see the details as far as what is happening, it could be a combination of an increase in value on your property. Again, that taconite credit might be affecting you because you may not be receiving as much taconite credit this year as you did last year. Supplemental taconite credit. And then the other pieces that we're seeing is, sorry, I lost my train of thought. We're seeing like increases in value is changing that amount. Or, that's the other thing I was gonna say, classification. If something happened with your property and for some reason the classification changed, one example would be from going from homestead to non-homestead. That can create some of those differences. But we would be able to, the assessors downstairs should be able to look at some of that for you. Otherwise, I'll be downstairs after the meeting too, and I can look at your specific property.
It doesn't show me what taconite credit was last year, so I don't know what I got last year.
And again, if you'd like to have your statement looked at by the assessors, their office is staffed right now, Mr. Viney.
That was the young lady that was down there?
If you go all the way through the hallway to the counter, she's at the door. She was just trying to divert people who want to talk. But if you go past her to the counter, there are assessors on staff and they can bring up your property and look at it directly.
She blamed the taconite credit.
A lot.
And that could be.
I talked to her before I came up and that's what she said.
A large portion of increases that we're seeing have been caused by that supplemental taconite credit reduction.
Mr. Chair, if I may, a lot of this, our appraisers' hands are tied because this is set by the state. You know?
Assessed values are dictated by the state. The counties have to appraise within a certain proximity.
And I mean, that kind of sucks. They went through $19 billion, pardon my language, but now they've come out and they've redone their calculations that our appraisers have to go by.
That's right. And again, their staff, thank you for your input, Mr. Viney.
A $6,000 increase in value doesn't equate to a 70% increase in my property tax, I don't think.
Further public comment? Is there any further public comment? Do we have anybody online? Okay, sir. Again, if you could please state your name for the record and where you live.
Yeah, my name's Isaiah Johnson and I live in Pliny Township, part of McGrath. I'll just start out first. I want to thank you guys for doing this meeting and the presentation, working these late hours. I am a first-time home buyer, so property taxes just are a whole new ballpark to me, and just watching this presentation helped a lot because I want to just understand them a little bit better as somebody who now has to start paying them. And you know, I got my proposal in the mail, and I don't know what the increase was or wasn't because it was a split property. So I just get the amount. It doesn't say a percentage change or anything like that. So as far as that goes, I don't know, and I don't have any questions to that. But the biggest tax portion on there is definitely the county side. And I don't know, maybe I don't speak for everyone when I say this, but I think most people don't like paying property taxes. And I just want to, I saw that it was like a 5.2% increase, I think was the county side. And just as a person who's new to all of this and who's coming in, I mean, I've got 4 kids, you know, and young family, and any extra expense is never anything that's fun. And I think all of us, it's kind of already been alluded to a little bit that we all know times are a little tough. I mean, inflation hasn't been kind to anybody lately, so I think we're kind of all in the same boat there. But yeah, just coming in as somebody who's, you know, just kind of making ends meet, you don't want to see anything go up a little bit more. And when I do see it, I want to know, why is that necessary and where are those funds going to? And just property tax in general. I'm not a big fan of property tax just because it's something you own. I don't know why you have to pay tax on it, but I think I'd like to know where that money goes and why that increase is there. And mostly it's just for knowledge building. And I think any time that I know I myself would always not want to see taxes go up, but that's just kind of why I came here tonight.
Well, thank you, Mr. Johnson. We appreciate your taking the time to come to the meeting too.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And you can go downstairs too and talk to the assessor. They can explain it detailed. They're very knowledgeable on what your property tax is and where your money's going.
And as illustrated in the
Obviously.
presentation, Health and Human Services, Public Safety, Road and Bridge constitutes a huge chunk of where the county expenditures go. Are there any further comments? Public input? Second call, is there any further public comment? Do we have anybody chiming in? And I will call last call, third call, for any additional public comment at this budget hearing. If not, that will, unless our county administrator, county auditor have any closing comments, we'll conclude this Truth and Taxation meeting for the 2026 Aitkin County budget. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, for your attendance and for your interest. With that, I would entertain a motion for this meeting to adjourn.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion on the floor to set effect made by Commissioner Sample, support.
Support.
That motion is supported by Commissioner Lori Westerlund. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. This meeting is now adjourned. And thank you again, everyone.
Thank you.
Kathleen?
Have a good night.
What's that, like an 89?